Welcome back. As Chief Specialist Engineer at the Ministry of Education, she leads the integration of sustainable infrastructure strategies that embeds circular economy principles, digital innovation, and climate resilience into Kuwait's educational framework. Her work strengthening national capacity for sustainability within growth while advancing the country's long-term environmental and economic objectives. She also serves as chair of the Sustainability Committee and technical advisor to the Kuwait Water Association, where she champions water diplomacy, climate adaptation, and smart infrastructure policies. Hebah Abbas is the national coordinator for the Foundation for Environmental Education, FEE, in Kuwait, and a board member of the Engineering Industrial Advisory Board at the Australian University here in Kuwait, promoting collaboration among government and academy and also industrial sectors. Let's welcome our dear guest, Hebah Abbas, Chief Specialist Electrical Engineer at the Ministry of Education, Technical Advisor and Sustainability Committee Chair at Kuwait Water Association. Welcome to Good Morning Kuwait.
Thank you and good morning.
Well, let's let's jump into business and let's ask the first question. As you know, Kuwait's voice on global stage, what did it mean for you as, let's say, the chair to stand before that kind of responsibility and to push into Kuwait's vision to be, let's say, executed properly?
Okay, well, thank you for your question. It definitely brought back a lot of positive vibes and good memories. So it was definitely an honor to be invited by the Shanghai Cooperation Organization to deliver a speech during the Media and Think Tank Summit in China. I do believe this is a powerful moment because Kuwait's voice was being heard on the largest and most influential platform. And as I mentioned, it's a media and think tank summit, so you can imagine all the official news agencies and media companies in the world being present at such an event. So it gives it a huge impact. So it was definitely a moment of pride and honor. At the same time, I felt responsible to convey our values of compassion, of competency, and of peaceful collaboration. But to me personally, this invitation to speak at the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit came at a very special time because it came as we were celebrating the 60th anniversary of Kuwait and China diplomatic relations.
Amazing.
So we're talking about 6 decades of strong partnership rooted in trust, rooted in respect and shared prosperity for both nations. So if you look at it, it's actually evolving. This partnership today is evolving from energy to infrastructure to digital innovation, which again aligns perfectly with both, with Kuwait New Vision 2035 as well as China's Belt and Road Initiative. So we call it a win-win-win. Kuwait win, China wins, and both nations win.
Exactly. But now let's step away from the bilateral relations of Kuwait and China. Let's jump into something more international. Kuwait's role in climate change, let's say, what Kuwait is now taking actions, what kind of actions Kuwait is taking to be aligned with the global standards, and how is Kuwait pushing for, let's say, environmental sustainability and to protect the environment in general. What's Kuwait, let's say, we call it global responsibility towards our environment?
Well, Kuwait is definitely committed, and we are taking a lot of initiatives when it comes to climate change. Each entity in Kuwait and each organization has its own role and responsibility when it comes to that. For us, for instance, at Kuwait Water Association, being an NGO, our role is 2 parts: scientific advancement projects, and then we have the public awareness campaigns. This is what we specialize in. And of course, through our participations in international congress and conferences. For example, lately, just few months back, we were at the Global Water and Energy and Climate Change Congress in Bahrain. It's a global event. Kuwait Water Association and myself, I was serving on the steering committee and the technical committee of that congress, which means 1 year and a half of sitting and meeting with leaders from cross sectors, from the mining industry, from water, from energy, meeting with academia, financial people, environmental people, all to come up with implementation plan to move things forward, and at the same time to ensure that this Congress goes into the standards required or meets the success we aim to. So for us, for instance, at Kuwait Water Association, on this Congress, which was 2 months back, on the first day, we chaired the closed roundtable discussion on water. I chaired it personally. So it was an invitation-only leadership roundtable discussion, how to move to implementation plan from water positive policies. And we were joined by leaders in the industry, and we have to come up with the implementation plan along with the KPIs and KQIs for that as well. Also, on the same event, we were given the chance to be a panelist at the closing panel, which was very important. In that panel, we also gave our recommendations to how to advance the key insights taken from the Global Leadership Forum into action points that we can implement in real life.
Okay, speaking of action points, to implement them in real life, do you think that, let's say, Kuwait government is trying to enforce that kind of action to be, let's say, in educational curriculums? Not only in, let's say, elementary school or high school, but also because if we raise that kind of generation to be extremely environmental responsible towards their, let's say, surrounding, do you think the government would take extreme measures to enforce that? Not extreme, let's say, kind of measures that we need to raise awareness. This is your environment, this is your house.
Actually, you raised a very interesting point here that I really like. Yes, the government is doing a lot of efforts.
Yes.
And it's not imposing as much as, you know, it's embedding these principles within the curriculum, within the culture, within, you know, the school work itself. You know, when it comes to students, we have noticed that, you know, the extra activities or out-of-school activities are more effective teaching the students about the environment. When they go, for example, to the garden and they plant and they get to know about the local plant, it's about the culture and the environment.
Exactly.
So they enjoy it more than just sitting in a classroom and you teach
Learning
them through the curriculum. You know, so the government is doing amazing effort when it comes to that. And for us, as Kuwait Water Association, we are the national operator of FEE, which is Foundation for Environmental Education. So we have a certification program that certifies the schools to become eco-schools. It's an international standard.
Eco-friendly schools.
Yes, no, but it starts with the students. It's not just eco-friendly in a sense that it's energy efficient or water efficiency. No, it's beyond that. It's about the students. First of all, it starts with a student committee.
Okay.
This initiative has to come from the students, not from the parents or the teacher.
No, no, no. You know, it should be like a self-awareness.
Exactly.
And speaking of schools, because last week Kuwait schools, governmental schools, celebrated the Green Day.
Yes.
Yeah, that was an amazing initiative. We need more, let's say, not one day, we need like month by month basis to raise awareness, to look into the flaws and let's see where are the bugs in the system, who are doing wrong in certain places. Kids need to be more responsible, more than adults, because as we said, they are the next generation. Right now, the climate change, environmental problems are surging.
Yes.
So do you think beyond that, are we going to see more in the future? We know in Kuwait, we see now in public places, we have parks, we have green initiatives, we have green, let's say, pop-ups and almost. Do you think that we're gonna see more?
Yes, definitely, by all means, and we are seeing more. And you know, the beauty of it, we see it firsthand because, you know, we have eyes, we notice these things. You know, when you consider something, you kind of notice it. For example, if I tell you notice the color blue, you will see blue everywhere. So for us, because we care about these initiatives, we see them firsthand. So we see a lot of amazing initiatives when it comes to recycling. You know, there are many initiatives in the schools, not just the Green Day or celebrating the Green Day or the Environmental Day. There are many initiatives. there are some planting days, there is some recycling days, we have, you know, water also, water management education. We have coloring books that we give out to students. I know also the EPA, or Environment for Public Authority, they also have visits to school students, and they also help with the awareness campaigns and guide them, you know, through it.
Through seminars also.
Yes, and then the beauty of it is that you see the partnership of public and private sector. So you see it not only in the government sector, you see it also in the private sector. You see it in the NGOs. And the most important keyword you said here is the youth empowerment. You know, we need to empower them, you know. We need to not force this on them, but teach them that they need to be aware of this thing and how important is this for them.
More
and for
responsible.
Yes.
More responsible.
Yes.
And now, let's move to a third point. Let's talk about global recognition of Kuwait's, let's say, agenda and execution towards environmental sustainability, especially globally. We know Kuwait took steps, major steps, in, let's say, Paris Forum, in Dubai Forum, taking initiatives, also trying our best to switch to clean energy. Do you think that we are, let's say, aligned with international standards towards clean energy?
Well, it depends, to be honest, because first of all, the standards, yes, Kuwait is always committed and we always comply to global standards. This is, you know, for sure.
Yes.
This is definitely a fact. Now, are we aligned? Are we on track? It's not for me to say or anyone to say. It depends on facts and figures and data.
Exactly.
Looking at the numbers can help us know where we are exactly, you know. But the work is being done by all the sectors, all the government sectors, and I see it, you know, I see a lot of initiatives happening. So I do believe that, yes, we are in progress, but if I would suggest something, I would suggest that we look somehow more into nuclear energy.
Well, that
especially SMR, because in my opinion, you cannot reach net zero without having nuclear or the small, you know, the SMRs.
Yeah, exactly. Especially now that there are European countries are moving toward nuclear power to empower, let's say, urban cities and, let's say, growing development projects, because it's clean, it's sufficient, it's sustainable. Also. So now let's talk about the future vision of Kuwait. We are heading to 2035 and also other futuristic visions in every sector. We have the oil sector vision, we have the general Kuwait vision, we have also educational visions. Do you think that these visions serve with sustainability? In translation, do you think we're gonna translate them on time or to be ahead of our deadline?
Well, I would say definitely we should be ahead of the deadline, especially in the last couple of years. I mean, as a Kuwaiti, we have all noticed, you know, the tremendous efforts that has been done in the government. I mean, even for you as a Kuwaiti, you notice that, you know, the progress that has been achieved in the past year, it's like equals 5 or 6 years.
Yeah,
you know,
it's just like a speed of light.
Exactly. We notice the difference. And I believe, you know, it takes a lot of effort for the, you know, citizen to notice. So it means there is a lot of efforts that is being done. But what I would do differently, honestly, I should, you know, sustainability should be looked at as a holistic approach. Yeah. When you consider sustainability, we should have a national plan. And the sustainability, again, with the innovation, with the youth empowerment, I see them as an integrated pillars of this national plan. And it should happen at every level of decision making. So it should start also from policies. And then we should have platforms or way to engage different sectors. For example, you know, we have what we call the Wi-Fi nexus or the water, energy, food ecosystem nexus, which basically means that these 4 sectors are interdependent and that to address them, we need to address them collectively. Like I will give you an example. We have the desalination plants. The desalination plants, they use a lot of energy. But what we can do and what we are doing in Kuwait, we're using solar power. So now we have solar power desalination plants. So in this way, you balance the water and energy.
Exactly.
You know?
Well, Hebah Abbas, thank you very much for joining us and Good Morning Kuwait.
Thank you so much.
Your words were extremely insightful, and we need to be more responsible toward our, let's say, environment. As let's say that your work reminds us that your true progress begins with purpose, and the purpose is to sustain Kuwait's environment and also to protect ourselves from, let's say, global changing and all these, let's say, the damage that happened in the past years. Well, again, thank you for joining us on Good Morning Kuwait, and I wish you all the best in your future endeavors. So, my dear viewers, stay tuned for more from Good Morning Kuwait.